If you've ever opened the Bible, stared at the page, and felt absolutely nothing, not peace, not clarity, not even mild inspiration, just the sudden urge to check your phone, you're not alone. Or maybe you started strong, promised yourself this time would be different, made it 3 days, and quietly drifted away like a gym membership in February. Somewhere along the way, you decided the problem must be you. You might think that you are not spiritual, disciplined enough, or built for this. And nobody really says it, but most Bible advice is made for people who already know how to study the Bible. Commentaries, word studies, historical context, color-coded systems that look like a craft store exploded. For beginners, that's not helpful. It's exhausting. So instead of adding more pressure, I want to give you a way to read the Bible that's simple enough to use on a tired weekday morning and gentle enough that you won't quit by the weekend. The first shift is what I call the no flip rule. Random flipping feels spiritual, but most of the time it just leads to confusion or emotional whiplash. One minute you're hopeful, the next you're reading a list of names you can't pronounce or a verse about betrayal and wondering what you did to deserve that. The Bible isn't a jar of inspirational quotes. It's a collection of connected stories and letters, and context is everything. So pick one book and stay there. No bouncing around, no scavenger hunt. And if you want the easiest place to start, choose the Gospel of John. It's simple, direct, and focused on who Jesus is and why any of this matters. You don't have to start at Genesis to start fresh. You just have to start somewhere and stay long enough for the story to make sense. The second shift is the 5-minute timer. We've somehow convinced ourselves that Bible reading only counts if it's long, quiet, perfectly focused, and accompanied by soft music and a warm mug. Real life disagrees. 5 focused minutes beats 30 distracted ones every time. Set a timer. When it starts, say a simple prayer like, "God, show me who you are." That's it. Then read until the timer ends. When it goes off, you're done. No guilt, no failure speech. Some days you'll stop right there. Other days you'll keep going because something grabs your attention. Both count. Consistency beats intensity, and God is far more interested in honesty than performance. Now here's where things really change. Stop reading for volume and start reading for meaning. Most of us were taught to measure progress by chapters or page numbers, so we rush, forget everything, and call it discipline. Instead, read slowly until one thing stands out. A sentence, a phrase, a single word, something that gently pulls at your attention. Then stop. That's your focus for the day. You're not trying to eat the whole loaf, you're just taking one solid bite. This turns Bible reading from a marathon into a daily conversation. Small, personal, and manageable. Once you have that verse or phrase, don't turn it into a pop quiz about your entire life. You don't need to figure out how it applies to your job, your relationships, your money, and your future before breakfast. Ask one question only. What does this show me about God? Is he patient here? Close? Faithful? Strong? Merciful? This takes the pressure off you and puts the focus where it belongs. When you understand who God is, the changes in your life start happening naturally, not through force or guilt. To make it stick, turn your verse into a one-sentence message, like you're texting a friend. Simple language, no church tone, just the point. If the verse says, "God came close," your sentence might be, "He didn't stay distant. He stepped into the mess on purpose." Write it in your phone, a notebook, or on a scrap of paper. This is how your brain locks it in. One small sentence can echo all day, long after the Bible is closed. One more thing that helps more than people realize is the version of the Bible you're reading. The message doesn't change, but the language does. If you open your Bible and feel like you're decoding ancient poetry instead of reading a story, it's okay to start with a simpler translation like the NLT, NIV, or CSB. That's not cheating. That's wisdom. You're learning the terrain before hiking the mountains. You can always come back to more traditional language later. But understanding comes before depth. God isn't grading your vocabulary. He's after your heart. Here's what this looks like in real life. You open John. You set 5 minutes. You read until something stands out. Maybe it's the line that says, "Everything was made through Jesus." You stop there. You ask what that tells you about God, that he isn't a side character in history. He's the source of it. Then you write one sentence: "Nothing exists without him." 2 minutes. No stress, no confusion, just connection. If you've ever wanted a way to read the Bible that feels human instead of heavy, this is it. Try it this week. And if this helped you, consider subscribing. I post videos like this regularly to make faith simpler, clearer, and more livable in real life. And if you want, leave a comment and just say, "I'm in." I'd love to hear it.